You sit in a room with 7 strangers. A card is placed on the table. 1 line on the left, 3 lines on the right. One of them is clearly the same length. A child could match it in 2 seconds. Then the first person says the wrong answer, confidently. Then the second. Then the third. By the time it reaches the 7th person, they all agree on something obviously false. Your turn. Your heartbeat spikes. Would you trust your eyes or trust the group? This happened in 1951 at Swarthmore College. The researcher was Solomon Asch, a psychologist studying how groups shape reality. After the propaganda and mass obedience of the 1930s, he wanted to understand one question: how far will people go to avoid standing alone? He found the answer was farther than anyone wanted to believe. The setup was elegant. 8 chairs, 7 actors, 1 real participant. They all believed it was a vision test. The actors answered first. At first, correctly. Then, without warning, they began giving clear wrong answers. Not subtly wrong, absurdly wrong. What happened next shocked Asch. 75% of participants conformed at least once. On average, people conformed about 1/3 of the time, not because they believed the group was right, but because standing out felt worse than being wrong. This is not about weak people. These were bright college students, yet the pressure to conform overpowered their senses. Asch dug deeper and found 3 forces at work. The first was normative social influence. One participant said, "I knew the answer was wrong, but I did not want to be the only one breaking the pattern." Your brain runs a cost calculation, the cost of accuracy versus the cost of rejection, and the cost of standing alone almost always feels higher. You do this in meetings when your manager shares a bad idea and everyone nods. You want to object, you feel the words in your throat. Then you smile and nod because silence feels safer than truth. That thumbs up emoji you just posted, that was normative social influence making the choice for you. But it gets worse. The second force was informational social influence. Some participants began doubting their own eyes. Maybe they know something I don't. 1 brain against 7. Mathematically, the group seems more reliable than you. You experience this on social media when you see hundreds of comments insisting on something false. You hesitate. You think, am I missing something?
Your certainty erodes. When Wikipedia says one thing and 500 Reddit comments say another, your brain sides with the crowd, not because they are right, but because numbers feel like evidence. Then Asch discovered something that changes everything. The third force was the power of an ally. When just 1 other person in the room gave the correct answer, conformity collapsed from 75% to about 10%. 1 voice broke the spell. Truth needs 1 ally. The group needs total silence. These forces govern your life right now. Online reviews shape your purchases, not because they're right, but because they are many. Zoom meetings mimic the Asch experiment perfectly. Someone proposes a bad strategy, 10 people go mute. You unmute for a second, you want to disagree, you're muted again. You add a thumbs up emoji. Workplace culture amplifies this even further. When a senior executive supports a flawed idea, the room follows, even when everyone senses the mistake. It's easier to fail together than to stand alone and be right. Your brain runs the same calculation in every conference room: accuracy versus acceptance. Acceptance wins almost every time. TikTok trends spread like Asch's experiment on repeat. 1 dance, 1 sound. Within hours, millions conform. Your For You page becomes a conformity engine, showing you what the crowd already validated. Social media mobs operate on the same principle at a global scale. 1 accusation, 1 viral claim, thousands rush to agree without examining the evidence. People join the crowd because the crowd looks confident. Numbers feel like truth. But the most disturbing discovery from Asch's experiment was this: participants did not see themselves as conformists. Every single one believed they would resist, just like you do. Yet 3 out of 4 failed the moment pressure appeared. So here is your moment of honesty. Think about the last time you stayed silent when you knew something was wrong. The last time you followed the group because speaking up felt risky. Most people think they are immune to influence. The data says otherwise. The cure is simple, but not easy. When you see the crowd moving in one direction, pause. Ask yourself, am I choosing this or am I obeying the pressure to belong? Look again at the facts before you follow the noise. In Asch's experiment, 24% never conformed. 1 in 4. That is your target. Be that one. Be the voice that breaks the pattern. Be the person who trusts their eyes when everyone else lies. Subscribe for more insights into the psychology that controls your decisions before you see it happening.